There's a really big blockade down here that nobody wants to push into. Um, this is definitely something that I would make a note about and see if there's something that can force players to break these kind of like buildups. Um,
Well, eventually what happens is someone gets stuck.
but is there a way to benefit from taking an L somehow? Like, there's literally no reason to rush this. Like, there's no gain to rushing that. So, like, holding
Right.
off as long as possible is the only benefit of not doing it, which isn't always the most satisfying approach to that. Um,
Well, the goal is to stack
I'm
it in
gonna
a
throw
way
my
that
other
forces the opponent to
reaction.
take it.
No, I want to do it this way.
Uh, and given that you know there's two different cards that allow you to kill things without dropping them out the bottom, it definitely tightens your options, but you can still capture things if you leave like the conveyor bots or the sappers or the swap droids to the end.
I don't know. The thing I'm just saying is like it there's a lot of build up here, and I think it they're like I don't know if this might be able to be played into the whole like ultimate thing. Like for every last games you get, you actually get another ultimate. So it's like, oh, okay, I lose 3 points, but I get an ultimate, meaning I can get a net of possibly 4 points because I can knock off two level 2 guys. Um, so it
That's
might be,
interesting idea.
yeah. So then at least there's like a reason, like, because really it's just a waiting game of when whoever can't like play a piece down and without like knocking everything down.
Hmm.
Which is sometimes fun. Like Jenga is like sort of like that, where it's like the whole game is this buildup of tension until one person screws up and the whole thing comes collapsing. But the whole game is about that collapse, whereas this is much more of a mid to end game state where you're like, oh, I didn't know I needed to protect against this like build up, this like conundrum down here. Like while I have the swapper, I don't know if I want to utilize my swapper to like, because if I use the swapper, then I, well, first of all, I have to push things down, but then I can't get, like, even if I do swap, like say these two, that doesn't benefit me. That's going to benefit the next guy over. Uh,
Yeah, I was thinking about making the swappers ultimate, or just making it so that the swapper can swap prior to playing, because I think it would
mm,
make it a more interesting piece.
mm-hmm.
And that I think by doing that, that would also further mitigate this blockade effect that happens. Because I don't, I like the negative piece and how that can kind of come into play, but I do recognize that it creates kind of an annoying situation. I'm just not sure that it's a bad situation. Well, I know where I'm going. I'm just trying to figure out what piece I'm going to use.
Because at this point, I think every spot is going to push you down. Yeah. There's no way to avoid the -3 entirely.
Yeah.
That was a cool play, though. I see what you did there.
Mhm.
The only way to
I
get that rust bucket is if you push this Crushertron, but the Crushertron will have to push this Crushertron, knocking these two in, and then if you push this down, that's gonna knock. That was fun.
I might make the crusher. Sure, I think the Crushatrons are really annoying, and if I make them worth points, they'll be sapper targets. Whereas right now, it's like if you want them out of the way. Huh.
That would be a 1 point net. He did that. So I'm gonna play this here. There we go. And I'm also going to use the ability of the Powitzer to push this down, the Powitzer's row down one more. I'm gonna move the Sappers back up. Just for the ease of... These guys are mine. Also this one. So that was a fun way of using the Powitzer. Like that felt very satisfying, knocking like 3 pieces off the board.
Mm-hmm.
So the Powitzer moves down 3, not...
No, the Powitzer 1, and then it knocks a row of its choice down 1. So he just chose his own row.
Which was which had a Crushertron, which pushed 2 of them off.
Excuse me.
Yeah, there's like no good play I can make. It's basically damage control at this point.
Yeah, sometimes that'll happen.
If you use one of your gems, no, never mind. That wouldn't be worth it because you're just gonna push a Crushertron down.
Yeah. Which I'm already gonna do. I could use it to get another point, but I mean, yeah, I guess I might as well.
Wait, what are you doing? It doesn't go that far.
It moves
He's
a row
using
down too, does it
ultimate.
not?
Yeah, the ultimate would bring it to here.
No, because I didn't move that row yet.
So
That's where
when
that's where the row was.
the row was here, right?
No, the row
No,
was
no.
here.
Yeah.
Okay, so then your
The row-
Powitzer.
row that is
He's
not my
blue.
Powitzer.
That's mine.
Okay,
My Powitzer was here. I moved this row down.
so
Yeah.
it was originally like this.
Correct.
Okay, so then you use the ability once. So you basically, the ultimate allows you to use the ability one more time.
Right. So
So
I would move this row down and then move it down again.
no, because then you're using the ability 3 times. You can only use it 2 times.
I've only so this.
Stu,
This
if these
would
were
be-
right here, by the way, if you dropped it into here, this is the first slot. So you haven't actually pushed these sappers down yet.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
My bad.
So if you just did both of them on this row, then you could get that swap droid.
You're right. I wasn't paying attention.
Okay, no worries. I'm gonna use my sapper and its ultimate.
Yeah, I was gonna do that as well. It's honestly the only way you should use your sapper is that way. Because it's
Well, it
6.
depends. I mean, it's a definitely a good way to use it, but
I think it's the only way you should use it. Unless, like, the only way you actually, no, I that is the only way you should use it, because otherwise, unless it's like a not a pity move, but like it's a, like, oh shit, I don't have any other things to play, it's essentially a loss if you don't use it that way. If you're going for 2s, you should just wait till there's like 2 3s on the board. Obviously, there's not, that doesn't
the
happen
ideal way
often.
to use it. But I also got 6 points by using my ultimate with my Powitzer.
Yeah, but I'm saying for the sapper, that you should just hold on to it until there's 2 3s on the board and just
Right, if you're going
zap
to use it with.
those. Because this game's all about just getting points.
Right.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's just how many points can you get, and the sapper kind of lets you cheat a little bit in the, like, not actually cheat, but like just allows you to cheat the actual game of trying to knock things off. It just lets you pull them off. So it's a super powerful feature in that way, but with that in mind, there's no benefit to play it until you're ready to take something. Because right now there's like really no purpose to start on any of these 3. Like, I don't want to push this down because obviously you'll get -6. There's no net gain for going into any 3 of those spaces. So right
I
now
have a
this is now
question.
like a 2-column game.
How come you have 4 cards in front of you?
How many should I have?
2,
How come?
because you were supposed to discard 2 at the start of the game.
Oh, oh, here we go. Didn't know that was a thing.
No worries.
You might have crackled out. You were coming in real rough at the beginning there.
A likely excuse.
Really nothing I can do with the swapper at this point. Like, the swapper is kind of a pointless card. Not that it does anything bad, it's just swapping 2 things isn't going to benefit me in any way.
Yeah, I'm going forward. The swapper is going to have its effect before you play.
So I guess I'll just be a jerk and put this right here. Used my ultimate. Do you have to use an ability?
Yeah.
Did I go mute?
No, I said
Oh.
yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you didn't come through.
No
Oh,
worries.
okay. The okay, so with you having to do the ability, that's okay. Because if you were able to skip, I don't think that's as fun. Because you could just not play the game.
Right.
So, no, I think that's a good idea. Also, removing the cards at the beginning of the game instead of ending with 2 is also definitely an upgrade.
Yeah, that felt better to me.
Yeah, because you want to end with nothing. You want, you don't want to end with 2 more things and you're like, oh shoot, I want to keep playing.
Right.
Oh, okay, use the Howitzer's ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Do I just tank it for myself and go this route? Or do I go here and do absolutely nothing? Swapper. What can I swap? Very strategic swap here. Don't mind me. Just swap the swappers. And I think that's endgame. Wait, are we supposed to have one more?
No, Stu was the last player.
Oh, I thought I was the last player.
No, because I was first player.
Oh, we just went in a circle. Okay.
Mm.
I was like, I rolled a 1. I thought I was going last. Okay. Now we add up points. We don't count anything on the board, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Well, it's much easier to math now.
Mm-hmm. And Paul wins.
Uh-huh.
And Alex, you and I tied for second.
Okay.
So I definitely like the ultimates.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. Where were the wide ones?
I just made them.
Oh, okay. Nice. Well, one thing I definitely want to try is I'd love to try this game with the ultimates as the base ability and then double the ultimates for ultimate. Like, I'm curious at how broken that would make this or how chaotic that would be, because I think that would be very it would be pretty chaotic, but also a lot more like change up, I think, would happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be an interesting play test just to see how broken the ultimates are if everybody has that by default, and then to use your ultimate ability, bring that
It will be interesting.
and then double that, because the ultimates are epic, but then if you doubled the ultimate, that is pure chaos. That's just absolute like catastrophe. And then making the ultimates feel earned. I know I already mentioned that, but just making them feel like, again, it could be something as simple as whenever you knock 2 bots off the board, you get an ultimate, or whenever a player like, or yeah, like whenever the guardian, if you have to knock a guardian off, or guardian, the last game's loser, robot, you get an ultimate with them. Like there's like just an ultimate on every single one of those. So you get to like predict when the ultimate gets played in, which is kind of a much more utility, like adds much more utility to this card. Because right now it sucks. It just like everything about it sucks. You don't want to touch it. You don't want to interact with it. The only time you want to play with it is to start people off at the beginning and just like, okay, cool. Throw that in there and then forget about it and then regret that you put that there like 10 turns later.
Yeah, I think that it would be an interesting way to earn the tokens.
There and this is kind of the nature of the game. There's a little bit of there's a bit of lack of control of what's going on. This has kind of been persistent through the last iterations as well, where I put something in and it's more like, okay, you guys do your thing, and I am very reactive, or I'm not reactive, I'm very
Well,
much
it's more about, using what you have available to take advantage of the situation that comes up on your turn. So
yeah, but
that strategy, which is why going forward, the swap droid and snapper are going to trigger before they come into play.
yeah. But it also still is very, it's not very interactive. Like I am playing a one-player puzzle game that just changes. Like there,
Yeah. That's how it's going to feel as a 4-player game.
Mhm.
Whereas playing it as a 2-player game, it becomes much more of a strategy and placement game. And the thing is I think that in both iterations it's fun, but it is turning out to be a very different game with multiple players versus single players.
Yeah. And the outcome of the play was not necessarily an issue, because we all took turns, we all had an end state, so that's a really good place to be. And I think it didn't feel like it dragged on too long. It was a little, like I would say maybe like 2 rounds too long. It would be on the longer side at this point, but that's also, we were playing with 4 people.
Yeah, and the thing is I've actually reduced the number of turns already.
Yeah.
I think that we're just there was a lot of new things going on and we were exploring it.
Well, that's how a lot of people are going to experience this game, is that first playthrough is going to be slower. There's going to be talking, comprehending what's going on. It's not, I don't think the time that we played was too long. I think the game felt like it was too long because there wasn't enough on the in the middle of the game. Like the mid game wasn't exciting enough. Like the start was fun because like, cool, everything's getting set up and played. The end was tense because it was like, oh shoot, there's like a bunch of these like red guys at the bottom. You just gotta be super careful, and you're just waiting for one person to put like a thing in the row to make sure that like, oh shoot, I don't want to say anything because if I say something, he might put it in the spot that I want to put the thing in. And then so that was intense, but the mid game was very slow. I think that can be more like jumped up with a little bit more excitement somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely take it under advisement. I mean, there's some other tweaks and changes I want to make, so we'll definitely have a tweaked version of the game for next week.
Yeah. And I know this is pretty different, but this is very satisfying seeing the Crushatrons fill up 2 spaces. I am curious if expanding some of these tiles to be a bit bigger, like making the swap droid actually like 4 tiles big, the Crushatron like 3 wide. Obviously, you'd have to go back to a bigger board size, but I'm curious if like how much you'd have to do to get that to work, because the Tetris element is appealing. I also like how you do have the little boxes, like the little shipping containers almost. It works in a way as well. I'm just exploring the other concepts there.
Yeah, I think that I think that's what makes the Crushatron interesting as a piece is that it's the only one that has that dynamic, and it creates that cool kind of domino effect.
Mm-hmm. I definitely think the swap, uh, is it the swap one, should be able to swap with the Crushatron. It felt very limiting that I couldn't swap things with the Crushatron. Um, I don't know,
I, that
maybe
was
not, but
it was a push towards simplicity because
mhm.
once we allowed that to happen, there's a big can of worms for the rules
Yeah.
about when it can and can't, and what happens if you know you have one piece that's surrounded and you want to swap that with the Crushatron.
Mm-hmm. Like you can't place a tile over another one, so that would be an illegal move.
Mhm.
And yeah, I understand that part. The just saying you can't swap with the Crushatron is totally understandable. Because yeah, the micro rules there would be really in depth.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you can only swap a Crushatron with a piece that has an adjacent space up there. Something I can play with too.
Is there anything else? Point system seems improved. Now that the points are on the players, you just receive points based on the things you get. Very simplified. I think that's fine. Um, I am still very interested in the pachinko kind of like scoring system where like if you drop them off the bottom, they just build up and then that's how many points you get. That's more just a curious like alternative way of playing. Because like once they like land in these spots, that's when you get your points. But if they fall off the side, you don't get your points. But I feel like this game, these definitely have limited the or nerfed, I guess, the conveyor bot because
Mhm.
there's literally 3 rows that I will always be limited and cannot actually utilize the conveyor bot for its full potential.
Right.
The conveyor bot always feels a little weak because even the Crushatron kind of like blocks the conveyor bot from being effective. So there's like there's like 1, 2, 3, 4 spots that you can earn points using the conveyor bot, and then there's also a limited like 1 out of 5 I think chance that you're gonna get a Crushatron in that space blocking you from even doing what you want, because I just move one, cool, it's the Crushatron is halfway off the board, doesn't give me points and doesn't really help anyone other than just bringing them down like this, which is kind of helpful but not to me. It's going to help everybody else in the game. And that's why I was just thinking for like uh for the ultimates, I'd almost say like anytime a robot gets knocked off, you get you get an ultimate piece or something. So people are really always using these ultimates, or just make the ultimates default. I don't know if knocking them off for each one you knock off gives you an ultimate. That might be a little overpowered, but I don't know. I'd like to see how the game plays just with all turns as ultimate, and seeing how like that breaks the flow. Um, but I do like the oh yeah.
No, I think that would be interesting, and there's definitely like a lot of like different ways we can play with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that overall the game is pretty close.
Yeah. Speaking of clothes, I have announced the rubrics that I'll be using for the judging of the games. I'm gonna be doing this based on the royalty counts and stuff. So like the closer to 100%, the higher your royalty per sale. At the time of the signing. So it is if you want to take a look at it, any comments or suggestions are also welcomed. But that is one tool that I've released that people can reference. That also goes for game mechanics as well.
Is that under business?
I believe so. Is it under business? I don't think I put that under business. Usually I put like just random like businessy things under business, not like actual. It's definitely under developers chat, which I think you guys are a part of. Yeah. Or yeah, it's right here. If you guys can't see this, let me know. Because I think when I switched over some things, people lost permissions, so I might have to reopen permissions again.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything.
Okay. How do I mess with this? There we go. Because you guys should all have access to the free resources. Yeah. But are the free resources limited individually with permissions? I do not know. Discord is very nice sometimes and then very mean other times. It's like I have far too much control sometimes. Where is my channel?
Unfortunately, I have to get going. But I really appreciate you guys playtesting, and hopefully once you post that in the chat, I'll check it out as well.
Yeah. I think that fixed it, maybe.
I'm not sure. Where am I looking?
But I'm also trying to figure out how to. So it would definitely be under the developers chat, and it would be this link right here, copy link. I'm just gonna direct send it in the chat that we're talking in, the lounge chat. See if that works. How do I do that? That's another question. Open chat. Here we go. If you can't access that, then I will try to fix that.
As a game system rubric?
Yeah, that's it. Should be at Google Docs.
Okay. Cool. Well, it's been a pleasure. I will catch you guys later.
Okay, talk to you later. Have a good night.
Guten Nichten.
Hi, Stu.
Hi.